Welcome to Doggy Style TV.
My name is Mirka. My company is called Mindful Behaviors. What we've done here today is we have been teaching dogs to do scent detection. So this is a similar concept, the way police force and the army, they train dogs to do drug detection or money detection. So in these classes we train the dogs to do the same thing, but obviously the scents that we use are legal.
We're going to do a second search with Chablis, still with the wintergreen container, and this time I'm going to hide it under a pillow on the couch. Chablis, find it!
Got it. Nice.
Good.
Well done.
Show me. Yes. Oh, what a good girl. There it is. Good job. Good job, baby. Very good.
So I'm here with Mirka, and your company is called Mindful Behaviors. And today we saw a class of what you would call sport detection. Tell us about that. What is that?
So sport detection it's a new Canadian sport, and the idea is to train dogs to detect a scent the same way police dogs search for drugs or money. Obviously in these classes we use legal scents. We don't go and buy drugs for the classes. We use a set of essential oils, but the training mechanism, the training process is the same. For the dog it doesn't matter what type of a scent it is.
So is this something that dogs would do professionally, or is this, as you said, just a sport for people to come out to do something with their dogs?
It's more or less a sport that people can do something with their dogs, yes.
Is it the same premise of teaching as the professionals would do?
More or less,
yeah.
Absolutely. As I said, the dog doesn't know that we people want to find a specific scent. So, I mean, for them, the scents are foreign anyways. Like, why would they go and search for money or things like that? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, the principle is the same.
I met with Stacey Shaw, who also does the scent detection, and she was telling me that dogs can even detect bed bugs.
Yes.
And, I mean, all kinds, like everything, right? Illnesses.
Yes.
That's incredible. Did you ever train dogs professionally speaking?
For scent detection professionally, no. I used to do search and rescue like on a voluntary basis when I was still back home in Finland. So that's sort of my stepping stone why I wanted to do scent stuff with dogs.
That's great. And then you came here and decided to start this. And what has been the reception from dog owners? How are you busy? Do people love what you do?
They do. It's sort of, the classes are usually, like the people who come to my classes, they are often old students of mine, like people who are really enthusiastic working with their dogs, and also just for the average pet owner who has, they tend to have sort of adolescent, super energetic dogs. The good thing about scent work is that it tires the dogs out, so people like it.
How many classes does a dog and their owner have to do in order to become qualified to be a scent detector? Is that what you call it?
So if we think of the Canadian sport, as soon as the dog starts to get the idea, people can enter these trials. Something that the Sport Detection Association does, they do these things called designated odor tests, which is basically you can gauge whether your dog is ready to go to a trial or not. So like today, the dogs that we saw, they are different levels. Some dogs and handlers get it a little bit faster than others. So there's no sort of guidelines. I mean, our classes, they're always it's a 5-class package. Okay. And more than half of the dogs, they are really figuring it out by the end of the 5 classes. Then some may need a little bit more work. So
I heard you ask a couple of the owners when they walked in if they had been doing their homework.
Oh yeah.
So you send them home to do the same thing in their homes? Or?
Yes, absolutely. So this type of work, the dog doesn't really proceed fast unless they do their homework. So just coming here once a week doesn't really cut it. That's my opinion. So I'm sort of very strict about the homework.
Of course, well, it only makes sense. Because I also noticed if they're not doing the homework, here comes this dog fresh off after what, once a week class? Is that what it is?
Yes.
So I noticed that you didn't put the smell in front of them when they first got here. So
yes.
And I saw, the dogs. I was quite amazed to see that they somewhat figured out what they were doing eventually. I know they're very food driven.
Yes.
Right? So
yes.
I know most of it is, okay, yeah, I want a treat. But you saw the Dobie and the Golden, they ended up getting it. Mm-hmm. So you never stick the scent in front of their face when they first get here or remind them what to do? They just remember?
So, because so far we're only using one scent, and those sort of the way, because this was class 5, so the way we started it out is that they really actually, we make little food bowls, they eat from them, and the scent is already there, so that they are getting the scent right from the bat. The stage where you would give the dog the starting scent is when you sort of tell them, this is the one I want you to look for today. But
right.
This is, so far it's only one scent, so we get it going with one scent first.
And what is that scent?
It happens to be wintergreen essential oil.
Right, Stacy was saying that too, so that seems to be like an across-the-board starting point?
Yes, I don't actually know why this is the chosen scent, but so it is, and it's accessible. It's Canadian, it's accessible, you can get it, so it's easy.
And how much does a class of 5 cost a dog and their owner, or rather the owner?
So yes, the 5 classes here, it's $200.
That's great. And it's awesome that they come out and do something with their dog, because that's really what we're pushing for.
Yes.
Right? Keep your dog busy, get out there with your dog, figure out some sports to do, anything, but please don't leave your dog at home for too long. And don't give it to a dog walker all day and think that that's okay too, right?
Yes.
Right, because you really want that contact, then they become a better behaved animal.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you do other things too though, so I think you have a class coming up called Cranky Canines, is that what it is?
Cranky Canine, it's under a different company, it's the Toronto Centre for Canine Education, and that's for dogs who are leash reactive towards other dogs, basically. So,
so they're aggressive when they're on the leash?
Yes, potentially, or reactive, sort of.
So what is your experience, your success rate, let's say, really? I mean, as far as, are there dogs you cannot train?
Are you talking about the scent detection or Cranky Canine?
Okay, scent detection. Are there dogs you can't train?
I don't think there are dogs that you cannot train. For some dogs it does take longer.
Depending on the owner's will as well, right?
True, and how much they've been practicing, and also, I mean, there's so many different kinds of dog breeds, and it depends sort of. Some dogs learn faster than others. But
so is it true that some dogs are smarter than others?
That is a good question. Usually the smartness, it's from a human perspective, so if they do something nice for us quickly, we think they're smart, but are those the dogs who would survive in the wilderness? Probably not. So It's a relative concept.
And is this a breed-specific sport?
Absolutely not. Any dog can attend.
That's incredible. And the last question is, let's go back to answering the question with the leash aggression. Are there dogs you cannot train?
The dogs who come to our Cranky Canine, no, they're usually very trainable. Again, I mean, there are different levels of reactivity, and some dogs do need quite a bit more work than others, but no, I don't think there's dogs that you cannot train. Obviously, living in Toronto is challenging for some dogs because you cannot escape like other dogs. As soon as you get out of your condo, you may be exposed to these things. So some dogs may not be suited for city life necessarily.
Of course.
But that happens very rarely in our class. So.
That's great. Well, I commend you for all the things that you do. I think it's wonderful. It was so exciting and so interesting to watch for the first time, something like that.
Happy to hear that.
Yeah, it's amazing. I have 4 little dogs. I don't know if I would be able to train them or not doing this, but...
Oh, you could.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll take you up on it
Absolutely.
and do a class one day. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's great. Thank you.
The dogs who did the class, you could clearly see that they were sort of like, if the scent was hidden like there in the corner, they would go past here and then they would start going like, oh, there it is, probably because there was a draft coming from under the door. So that's sort of how it works.